Hello, hello, good morning. Happy Saturday, everybody. Let me just double check my audio. Happy Saturday, everybody. All right, sounds like there's no echo. Double check my audio. All right, sounds good. Got the cameras ready, good to go. Check my computer. All right, looks good. Yep. All right, happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to another, right? We're like halfway there in the year. I think this is week 25 or week 26. All right, so we are slowly getting into the we're already in the halfway mark, but we're slowly getting into what I would call prime season of embroidery, kind of like the end of summer, fall, winter. I know for us that's like our main season. Right now, it's probably like it's not our main season right now in the summer, okay? But for us, it gives us good time right now to kind of get ready, get ready for that big rush that always comes. I would say October, especially November, is always our biggest month, and then December is like right behind there. All right. So even though it seems like so far ahead, right? Right now is the time where we want to kind of prepare for the winter embroidery season. Okay. So today I have our design. Let me see if I could pull it up. Today I want to focus on script fonts. Okay. Always popular. See? Yep. Right. So we have our script font. Always popular. I like it for especially for names. Okay. For names. Uh, I think it's very good for names. What I want to do today, I want to go into the details of script fonts. Talk about the do's, the don'ts, what to look out for, and we can digitize it. We'll digitize it live, and then we'll stitch it on a sweater. So I have a sweater ready to go. We'll talk about the little minor details about hooping on a sweater. All right, so I think this is a pretty nice design right here. Okay, I like this font, especially like for names, last names. I want to do some projects with last names. All right, so we'll focus on sweater. This file here, okay, we'll make it I believe it's a 7-inch wide design. Okay, so we'll look at all the details once we get there. All right, so as you can see, pretty nice font right there. All right, all right. I want to say good morning to everybody. Good morning, Legine. Good morning, Bevy Jean. Glad to have you here. Good morning, Linda. All right, Barb, Salty Gravy, Jelaine, Marisa, Sonia, Kingsbury Craft, youngsters. All right. Nice to see everybody here today. Definitely going to go into the details of script font just real quick. Let me get this other camera ready. So even before we get into the details of the digitizing portion, okay, I do want to talk about the plan. I always like to go over the plan. I like to go over the blueprint on paper. Okay, let me see if I could go. All right. All right, we got this on paper right here. Let me make it a little brighter. Put a little bit more light here. All right, so this is the text that we're going to digitize this morning. Okay, I just want to go over some of the do's and don'ts, things that we got to look out for. Okay, um, so what I like to do, I like to print out any design that I'm going to digitize. I like to print it out, but just bring down the opacity, so like the shade. Since it was all full black, I just bring down the shade a bit, and that way I could draw over it. All right. And then the font for this, it's an Adobe font. Let me see if I could pull it up real quick. Hold on. I'll see the font once we start digitizing. All right. All right, let me see. Yeah, we got a good angle right here. Okay, so a couple pointers that I just want to bring up. That way, when I'm digitizing, I could kind of move a little quicker without having to stop at every little small details. Okay, anytime we're dealing with script, you want to avoid. So when we're dealing with script, cursive text, okay, you want to avoid small lettering. Okay, you definitely do not want to be in the 5. So you don't want to be below, I would say maybe 7 millimeters. Okay, you don't want to be below 7 millimeters. You definitely don't want to be below 10 millimeters. I mean, 5 millimeters. Okay. Um, Hold on, let me get this straight. All right. Usually you want to be above 12 millimeters. All right. On a good day, you want to be above 12 millimeters. All right. You want to here cursive. You really want to plan out your whole path because you want to minimize cuts. Okay. So we can try to do this whole line up here in one shot without any cuts. Okay. Just because each letter is right next to each other. Okay. Now, in order to do that, or even before we get into that, so avoid another one here is what's above and what's under. Okay, that this is really the challenging part. All right, let me see if you can see that. All right, what's above, what's under, meaning when you're writing here at this intersection, are you going to have this stroke over this portion here? Okay, so you have to know what's going to go over, what's going to go under. Okay, so that's going to be important. Okay, so this being our first letter here. Okay, of course, we're going to start up here. And you kind of want to get an idea of how your satin stitches are going to be running. All right, this is going to go under this long stroke. All right, let's see. Let me zoom in. All right. All right, so I like to make a note here, put a line. It's going to be a walking stitch coming to this side. Okay, that way we continue here, coming up here, and then over here. Right, put an arrow, meaning that I'm going to walk after I do this portion. I'm going to walk up here and continue doing my sand stitches. Okay, everything here is all sand stitches. Text should always, in a perfect world, right, should always be sand stitches. Okay, and then so we got here, we're walk up here, and then we take it all the way here. All right, so we're really just making sand stitches all the way through. But you could kind of give yourself an idea on how you want your sand stitches to look. Okay, so in a perfect world, this is how we're going to digitize it here. So we'll start it up here and we'll end it down here. All right. Here, now we get to the A. Okay, we know this portion here. Okay, you could start drawing how, you could start anticipating how you want your stitches to look. Okay, we know this portion of the A is going to be below this part of the A. Okay, so we want to start anticipating. And then this portion is going to be below this portion of the L. So we can start, everything is just anticipation. So when we get there, we already know what we're going to do. All right. So after this part, the tail of the A, we'll walk our way here to this part of the L and digitize and stitch this portion. So it'll overlap this part of piece of the A and the portion of the L. And then it's just rinse and repeat. Okay, once we do that, okay. Here, anytime we're combining two letters together, we're really merging these two letters together. So it's kind of like I would say I like to compare it to when you get onto the freeway. Okay, you're merging onto the highway. Here, this part of the L, we have to merge it with this part of the I. Okay, and if you get a good clean merge, you avoid gaps. Okay, we avoid having gaps because our sand stitches are in the same direction. Okay, so we continue doing that here on this F. Okay, this F here, what I would want to do is I want to make this portion first. Okay, so we got to decide what's going first, what's going second. So in order to complete this one first, I can walk my way up here. Okay, and then here, just so I don't have a tight curve, I could make this hand stitch here. And then this part of the F last. Okay, this could be above everything here. Okay, and after it completes it here, now it could jump to the O. All right, so pretty much we'll kind of continue that whole format there. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing with the D. Here, with this D, kind of looks like the Dodger D a bit. Okay, here we got to decide what's going above, what's going below, right? It looks like an intersection freeway here, and we need to decide what's going on top, what's going on the bottom. So here you can say, and a lot of this is there's no correct answer. Okay, there's really no correct answer. It's really how you want to interpret the design. What you can do, you can go into some of the more popular design and see how they did it. Okay, as an idea. But overall here, what I want to do, I want this to look like it's kind of looping around. So I'll put this above. All right. If we have a situation like this where our intersections are so small, okay, you might not have to make a gap in between the intersections. Okay, so we'll talk about that when we get there too. All right. So really, we're just making sand stitches all around, and we want to make nice clean curves. Now, when we're talking about nice clean curves, let's look at this part, this end here. Something like this, okay? This has a nice clean curve, real straightforward to do, but where you got to really look out for is like tight turns, tight curves, such as this one when you're turning curves. So you might have more nodes in this area than you would something that's wide, okay? And we'll kind of talk about these wide nodes here, okay? A little simpler to do. Whereas here, where we're cutting very tight and doing a tight turn, we're gonna have to add more nodes. All right. So really, another rule that I like to talk about here is underlay. Okay, underlay. You want to avoid any unnecessary heavy underlay because what could happen, especially on the smaller text, what can happen is the underlay might start slipping out, and you might start seeing the underlay. So you don't want to see the underlay. You want to make sure it's nice and tight inside. Okay, so we'll talk about underlay and um, what's above. So what's above and what's under, that kind of goes with sequencing. All right, sequencing. What's going first, what's going last. For today, we're going to keep it very simple. We're going to start with the C, and we're going to make our way all the way to the right. Okay. There will be times, go a little back. There will be times where, let's say you do it on specific hats, that you might have to move from the middle to the left and then to the right that way. Okay. In some situations, if you encounter a bunch like a garment getting bunched up, you might have to change it that route. Okay. Today we're doing a sweater. All right. So for a sweater, we can pretty much go the traditional way, just from left to right. Okay. What I do want to do, I want today's lesson to be kind of like a two-part lesson, where today we do it on a sweater, and then next week, okay, everything that we learned from today, I want to incorporate next week and turn our capital letters into 3D puff for hats. Okay, so today we're going to keep it very basic and keep it on a flat surface on a sweater, and then everything that we learned today, we'll take all that information and convert it into 3D puff hats for next week. All right, all right. So that's kind of like the game plan right now. Okay, so let's go over to the software. All right, let me turn all this off. All right. And if you got any questions, let me know while we're digitizing. All right, let's see. Oh, all right. Looks like we got a jam-packed house today. All right. All right, let's get into the software. All right. So let me see. I got my design right here. Oops. And then the program that I'm using is Wilcom 4.5. Now, one thing about the software, very important about the software, I'm going to use the most basic tools. Okay, I'm going to use tools that can be found on any of the softwares. Okay, which I'll be using here. Column A. Okay, um, and then the size youngster, the size font on the back of my hat. Uh, I'll pull up the design in a bit. I think I want to say it's a 0.75, might be 0.6, something like that. I'll check on it in a bit. All right. All right. So design software. Okay, software. We're gonna keep it very, very basic. Okay, very, very basic. All right. So first thing that I'm looking out as soon as I drop this, I drop my artwork. Okay. So I'm gonna check on the sizing. So I want to check it on in inches. All right. So right now it's at 5.9. So down in the right is the size. I'm gonna make it a 7. So I'll make it a little bigger. All right. And then I can lock this down. So I just push K to lock it down. And I want to measure this. So I'm going to measure it in metrics. Okay. Then you could see we are here, 22.4 millimeters. All right. Which is more than good. All right. Or if you want to go inches, we could start from up here. We're looking at 1.44. Okay. So very bold. Anytime we're dealing with script font, okay, this is like my go-to size. I like them big, just so those sand stitches could really stand out. Okay, because what happens is sometimes when you do these curves here, they might be real thin, where small fonts, okay, it'll be hard to see. Okay, 0.866, this little small O. All right, so we're looking good here. All right. So here, I just dim it down just so I could see me going through it. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me hide all this. What I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna turn off all my settings, all my underlays. Okay, Just going to turn all this off. And I'm going to do all my settings, all my underlay at the very end. Okay, at the very end, we'll do it. All right, so I'm going to use the column A stitch. All right, which you kind of set the stitch angles as you're digitizing. All right, what you can do, okay, what you can do, you could always start with a run stitch. Just make a run stitch, just so you don't start on the sides or on the edges. Okay, and then you start setting your first angle. Now we go millimeters. Okay. So here I'm going from left to right, and I'm setting the stitch angles as I'm digitizing. Okay. And then, of course, you could come here and fix this H. All right, so far, let's change this color. I'm gonna work in blue so we can see the color. All right. So far like this. Okay, I left this gap because we're going to put this part of the E is gonna go on top of that. Okay, we go here and then we continue. Okay, we're just making these nice subtle curves. And the key is to make the least amount of clicks, okay, least amount of nodes. Now, if you don't get it perfect, you could always go back and adjust them, okay? So here, I just went through a very tight curve. Now our curve opens up. Now I don't need as many nodes, okay? And when I talk about nodes, these are the clicks that I'm talking about, okay? So see how I could go out wide? I could take it all the way wide with least amount of clicks. All right, now that we're kind of tightening up, I might need more. Okay. And a lot of this tracing portion is all just, a lot of it is just practice. Okay. But what I'm doing is I'm anticipating my stitch angles. Okay. So each time I click those 2 clicks, I'm telling the software where to set these angles. All right. Let's change the color. All right. So you could kind of see if something's kind of not lining up pretty good. Okay, but what you want to see is nice natural curves. All right, so let's say something like this, right? It kind of went out. You can always, what I use, the reshape tool. So it's the letter H. Anytime I say the letter H, I'm going to reshape and I could add a click right here and just adjust it right here. All right. So here, right, going to add another click here. All right. One thing that I like to do, whenever I have a tight turn, I want to extend it a little bit more past, because what happens is those tight turns are going to pull in more. Okay, for example, here where we have this tight turn, just pull it out a bit. Okay, because what you'll notice is that in that area, the fabric's going to want to tend to pull in a little bit more. Okay, it's like minor details that nobody will ever know, but it's just something you as a designer and digitizer might catch. All right. All right, so far, okay, you just want to make sure everything's looking natural. Okay, so our curves here. That's fine if it goes past a bit on the tight turns. Okay, that's fine. All right, and then if there's anything that seems kind of off when you do the actual stitch out, you can always come back and do subtle changes. So here I'm gonna bring this out a tad bit. What you want to do is find the middle part. So we have 2 nodes here, and I want to grab this middle portion. Okay, and just pull it out a tad bit. All right. And I like to get this first one like down packed perfect because this is the big letter that's really going to be seen. All right. So far, okay, so far we got this letter here, which is looking good. All right. And then, all right. Good morning to everybody. Okay. All right. So, see, right? Looks all right. Looks good. Okay. If you want to replay it, you could also, we're not really worried about the cuts and the trims right now. It's showing 2 trims. There shouldn't be any, there should only be the last trim that starts. Okay. But what we're going to do at the very end, I'll do it right now as a practice. Pull up our sequence. Let's start here, go here. Okay. What we're going to do at the very end is apply closest join. Okay. And then it brings down our trims to 1. All right. So let me take off all this. Okay. And right now we're not worried about underlay. So as you can see, there's 0 underlay right now. Okay. But at the very end, I'm gonna add the underlay. Really what I like to do underlay wise, anything that's kind of like our big portion, like this part here, where it has a lot of sand, like longer sand stitches, I might add more underlay than I would something like a small portion. Okay, so we'll talk about all that in a bit. Now this A, let's go with this A here. So I want to take care of the circular portion first. Okay, I'm gonna do the A. I think we have different. We have 1, 2, 3 A's in our text. I'm gonna do them differently, each one, just to kind of show you different options that you have. On this one, we're gonna replicate exactly like how it looks. Okay, so you have this portion of the A that kind of sticks out. Okay, we'll include it on this one. All right, so what you want to do, you want to start all the way from the bottom there. All right, and really what you're doing, what you're creating is a it's kind of like the letter O, right? But the angles here at this corner very tight, so you might have to use more clicks and more nodes. And then when it opens up, we're kind of doing less nodes, right? Now here it's going to start tying it up, so we're going to make more nodes. All right, here, what we want to focus on is merging into our designs. Okay, so we got this portion of the A here. All right, and then let's do this part out here. And then, yeah, well, I'll show you on the other letter, but here we're just going to trace this portion. And you want to have a good overlap, so we can overlap what's on the bottom. All right, right here, super tight curve. So our nodes are going to be very close together. Then here we'll finalize it here. All right, so here, right, it's looking a little choppy right here. So we can see how to go about fixing this portion, H. All right, what I would say, I would add here, add square one. What you want to do is make it look very just natural. Delete this one. Okay. All right, so now it's looking a little bit more natural here, like a natural curve. All right. So the main thing here is that we had this little small part of the detail. Okay. So the details kind of are present here. All right. All right. Let's go with this L. Now we go into this L. We're going to walk our way. We're going to walk from here, from the end of this A to this part of the L. Okay. And now we're going to start this part. So this is going to be below the main part of the L. Okay. This is an option that you can do since we have a very tight turn here. Okay, we're literally going from one way and we're going to pivot to the other way. Some options that you can have in order not to have a very tight turn here. We could continue going straight. Okay. We can continue going straight. And then here, pivot and now go from one way to another. All right, so we could go like take it here. All right, now we're going taking a big giant step right here. We don't have our tight turns right now. All right, then we could always go back and fix all those little small details. Okay, tight turn here, so closer clicks. Then we could just write this out. All right, so we could fix this. H, reshape, bring this part a little down. Bam, bam. Okay, it's a little tight right here, but it's good. Go around. Bring this out a tad bit. All right, and then this part. I'm just putting extra nodes anytime I have to make any big adjustments. All right. One thing to note, when you see a circle here, it's a lot with the other programs too. When you see a circle here, that means it's a rounded. It's a rounded. I did a rounded click. Okay, so it keeps the design. Okay, here I'll put a square, meaning it's a tight pivot. It's not going to round itself. It's just going to do a strong turn. Okay. Now, of course, you always want to see how it looks. Okay, so for example, this part here, it's looking a little funny. Okay, so H, you can always change the angles a bit. All right, that's gonna be fine. That's gonna cover up right there. Okay, so far, all right, looking good. All right, and then we have a question here. Do you set tension during digitizing, or is that strictly for the thread? Yeah, tension is all on the machine. Okay, yeah. All right. All right. So a lot of this, right? It's a lot of it is just rinse and repeat. Okay. Once we did that, we're going to do it again here. Now, this I do want to show you something here. When we're making these shapes, okay, as you're digitizing, you could see what's the length of your stitches. So right now, 4 millimeters. All right, we got some good size. Here, without doing the full details, I'm gonna do one that doesn't have too much. All right, I'll do one like this. All right, so this one, okay, just straight squares. Okay, what you can do anytime you do a straight square H, you can convert it here And now you could add after you do the basic shape. Now you could add the actual details of it. So here, okay, I know it's going to turn here. So you find the middle portion, put a circular, right, circular. Then here, circular. Okay. So you can create, you can just do the base, right? Bam. This one's a little more time consuming, but there are certain times where you could benefit with doing it like this. Okay. All right, let's see how that look came out. All right, and then here on the edges, H, what you could do, add these two, bring these down below. All right. So we turned our like a real choppy trace, and then we kind of refined it. So now it follows this, our design, kind of like perfect. So that's really like a useful way if you want to minimize on the amount of clicks. So H, we can bring this down a bit. All right. Bam. All right. So we're looking good so far. Okay. This F, California, is broken down. If you kind of break it down in your head, we got this portion. So that's 1. We got this portion going up, 2, and then we got the horizontal portion, which is 3. Okay, so we can break this up into 3 portions. And then here, we could kind of do the same thing. All right. We can walk our way up here. And then you can anticipate how you want this portion to be. So we'll start it from right here. Okay, so the long one right here. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this portion down here. And just so I don't have a very tight turn at this area, I'll just break it up into another piece. Then we could go all the way down here. Take it all the way up. All right, bam, look at that. Okay, looks like. All right, now we do this part, this top part, and of course, always different ways to do it. All right, bam. All right, looking good so far. All right, and then question here. All right, youngster, do you need to cap off any points like you would? No, that's only with, not in this situation. Since we're doing flat, we don't have to worry about capping. So next week, okay, we're gonna take whatever we learned today. We're gonna take it next week too, and we're gonna do 3D puff next week, and we're definitely gonna have to cap. Now with sometimes with script fonts, sometimes since we're able to start very small here at the ends, okay. Usually with script fonts, you don't even have to cap because this is considered your capping here. Your ends here, since they're so small, that would be considered our capping. So maybe, yeah, in most situations with script fonts, you don't really have to cap in some situations. Okay, you're capping with the ends. All right. All right. Very good question right there. All right. All right. Let's continue. Let's do this O here, this circle. Okay, always fun. We should be able to do it with 2, 4, 6 clicks. All right. So our first clicks are always our straight lines. So 1, 2. Uh, we put a rounded corner. We put a rounded one there, rounded one here, and then do our straight line there. All right. So H. Yep. 2, 4, 6 clicks right there. All right. And then once we get to here, we could just copy and paste our circles there. All right. This O here. Okay. So let's just anticipate it. Uh, Really, what you can do, you can either cut it up into 2 pieces. I'm just gonna do it very quick right now and overlap a lot of this stuff. Okay. And you're just anticipating these angles. That's why this tool right here, okay, the column tool is probably like what I've seen digitizers. This is probably like one of the most popular ones that I've seen that people are used to working with. Here, okay, here what you can do, you can overlap it a tad bit just so you don't have any gaps or anything. All right, and then you go back H to and then kind of fix these here. Let's see. Did I lose sound? Hello, 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 hello. Hold on. All right. No, I got sound. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Sounds like we're good. All right. All right. Continuing here. T. Okay. Here on the logo, the O, it looks a little. It's kind of like flat-footed up here. Okay. You can either match the. Okay. I would rather it just to look a little bit more normal. Okay. So I would just pick this up a tad bit, make it look a little more natural. Okay. That's always judgment calls. Okay. That's always customers always right. Okay. In that situation where if they want their logo to look exactly like how their logo looks, okay. But sometimes there are situations where in embroidery, we can't do exactly what the customer is looking for. So we have to switch it up a bit. Okay. So here, actually, I just caught this real quick. I could bring this up all the way up here so it could merge. Okay. All right, here. Okay, you could chop up this O like how we did earlier on the C, but you could just overlap it too. Okay, so here, just kind of follow And then this R, lowercase r, are always special because we have a, it just kind of turns real quick. Okay, so here we're going from, uh, we're moving from left to right, and then on our next step, now we're moving from top to bottom, and then right quick, now we're going from left to right again. Okay, so here, uh, different situations that you can do. Okay, what I've done before is I can lay down a, so we're going here. I've laid down underlay. Okay, like a quick underlay. Okay, so because I know I have, this is kind of like three pieces that are like real close to each other. So what I can do is lay this part here, this underlay. Okay, and then you go to your properties, and then instead of spacing it normal 0.38, you could put it as a 1 millimeter. Okay, now this is all spread out, and you just created your own underlay right here. Okay, and what that can do, what that could help is it'll kind of hold this area together. Okay, because if you're going from left to right here and then from up to down and then left to right, what can happen is you can have some gaps. Okay, so to prevent that, we could just lay down a an underlay there. And now digitize this as you would normal digitize it. Okay, so here I'm just making it. All right, so that bottom part, that bottom underlay, you won't really see it, okay, because this is now going to cover it. And then this is going to cover everything right here. All right, now we do this part. And then anything that looks a little choppy or misplaced, we could always come back, fix that up. All right. So this is always the main part. It's like the meat of the letter here. Okay. So you want that to look as natural as possible. H. Okay. All right. You want this merging. Okay. It's like two highways combining together. And you want this part of the R to blend in with the N. All right. Now, okay, ends. Ends are always fun. Oh, and I'll get the name of this font right now. Um, so let's say right here, right? Like if you do it like this and it looks super choppy, right? As long as you got the base of it, you can always go back, reshape, and you can adjust it, okay? Because you got these main points here. You could always go back here and adjust. Okay. So here, it's just asking for one here in between. Right. Right. All right. Now this portion, so this part here, let's measure it here. It's a little thinner, 2.29. So you're not gonna want to add too much underlay here. What I could just do is a nice merge. Okay. Bam. Bam. Now pull up this part, pull it all the way in. It's like all these bottom curves, it's all the same. Like all the text and all the fonts, they're all similar. Okay. Bam. Okay. And it's literally the same thing. We might be we might be even able to, let's see if copy and paste, if it's the same one. It looks almost like the same one. Okay. But we'll just knock this one out. Over here. All right. Let me see. I want to get into the embroidering the sweater. So let me see that. All right. All right. Let's just finish this California. All right. And then I'll show you how to go about, because right now, let's see how many cuts we have. We have 17 trims, right? Which would be super unnecessary. Okay. Be super unnecessary. We already have an A. So here at this part, this is where we could start recycling and using our objects that we've already created. So we'll grab this A, just copy it, place it right here. Okay. And then our I, bam, right there. Okay. Let me just make sure we parked it where it's supposed to be parked. Okay. All right. Actually, let me make this A, because I did say I was going to do it two different ways. Uh, let's say let's say you're not too concerned about leaving this part of the A, like this minor detail. So as you can see here, we have it. Okay. We kept it here, very minor. Okay. Let's say you just want to do without it. Okay. We could start it up here. Because a lot of times, like small details like that, you could even see it in your samples. Sometimes you do certain details and it's not very noticeable. Okay. So if it's not noticeable, sometimes you could probably just omit certain items from the design. Okay, so there's been a lot of times where I recommended, hey, this part of your logo, if we were to try to replicate it would either not be noticeable or it would actually hurt the design. So there's been times where I've recommended certain items just to be removed from the logo. Okay. Okay, so we could do it here and then add this part. And then you could really start from any which way, okay? Doesn't really matter if we started from the top, from the bottom. Right, because what we're going to use, we're going to use the apply closest joint, and it's gonna adjust exactly where our node or where we're gonna be stitching from. All right, H. Let's fix all this up. Bam, bam. All right, so we want smooth turns here, which looks smooth. Then here, okay, cool. All right, so here we're gonna omit this little portion here. Okay, we'll omit that part. You could test certain items. All right, see what works. Your face camera's like, oh, all right. Give me 1 sec. Let me fix my camera. Thanks for letting me know. Hold on, give me 1 sec. Let me just switch this battery out. All right, so while I'm switching out the camera, one thing that I'm going to do right now, I'm going to put the apply closest joint. And the main thing, the only way apply closest joint is going to work is if everything is sequenced correctly. Okay, as long as we sequence everything correctly, then apply closest joint should work out pretty straightforward. All right. All right, back. Just connect this. All right. Right. All right, I think we're good. Back on track. How's my audio? Yep. All right. Let's continue. Thank you for letting me know. Um, all right. So right now it's showing 20 trims. Okay, 20 trims. Of course, we definitely don't want to do that. Okay. Even before we take care of that, let's take care of our underlay. Okay. So this is where we pull out all of our settings. All right. These are really the three boxes that I use, which is the object properties, where I'm going to control all of the details. Our sequence, so color object list is the sequence that I want to go with. And then the design information, what I'm looking out here on the design information is how many trims do we have? Um, how many trims? How many stitches we have? Okay. Uh, and that's really the big one there. Okay. How many trims? All right. So you could kind of let me All right, it's just selecting that one. All right, we want to see, make sure that unlock. Oh, unlock. All right, it's actually selecting these two together. Let me save this. Hold on. Um, Let me just save this real quick. Save, because our Word files, design 9. Something was stuck right there. All right. All right. Good morning from Italy. Good vibes. All right, right. Nice to have you here today. Okay, let me click out of this real quick. Let me open it back up. I'll pull it up right now again. One thing that I want to show you. All right, back on track. All right, so we have 20 trims, right? Let's take care of our underlay. It's just one underlay I don't really want to mess with, and that was on that R. We added that piece on that R, okay, which I created our own underlay. So that's number 18, okay, so 18. So I'm going to exclude number 18. Okay, and then I could exclude our walking stitches, any of our walking stitches. All right, so here I go to our underlay. All right, first I am going to make a center run, that's fine. And then second underlay. You could put a zigzag. I'll put a double zigzag. Double zigzag. It's a little bigger. Okay, our font is a little bigger, so you could add a little bit more of the underlay. Okay, and then fills 38. Okay, I'll put it at 38 right here. All right, now that we have our underlay and everything, okay, I'll have the two dots. I'll just have those trim. I'll just have those stitch out by themselves, so I'm not going to include it in the design. So what I could just do, bring this all the way to the bottom, move to the end, and then move this one to the end. Okay, but what I want is for everything here, all three, two, and then we just want to verify that everything is in the correct sequence. Okay, so it's one, bam, bam, A. Because sometimes when you're digitizing, you could send something out of sequence. Okay, so you're just verifying. Because as long as everything's in sequence, the apply closest joint should do its magic and do everything efficient and eliminate all unnecessary cuts. So all I'm doing is making sure that everything is in order. Okay, which it is. All right, now take out these two dots and then right click to apply closest joint. Bam, 4 trims. All right, so it did 1. I should only have 3 because it's the California and the 2 dots. So that's 3, but I think this is my so this is one here. What you can do, you could keep this trim right here, or you could bring this A a little closer to the C. Okay, what I'm going to do, H, put this cut all the way at the very end. Let it run all the way to the end. Okay, bam, start here. This A, H, we can start it right here in the middle. All right. So if we replay this, all right, let's take a look at how it looks. Okay, if you got any questions, we're gonna start. We'll put it on a sweater right now in a bit. Okay, so it does that overlap. Okay, it has all the underlay, nice and good, ready to go. Okay, let's speed it up a little bit. All right, let's do the A. Okay, does all that. Bam. Now it's gonna do the out part. Gonna walk through this part, and then it's gonna overlap here. Okay, so as you can see that apply closest join, it's very useful, especially when you do all the heavy lifting. Then it should just do the easy computer portion. All right, so it does all that. All right, so looks like we're good to go right here. Let me show you the one that I've made that's ready to go. Hold on. See if I could find this. California Dreaming. All right, so let's play right here. 6 trims. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, the D. All right, we'll see what those cuts are at. But okay, here T H. I'm gonna actually stop it here. H. All right, a couple of things I want to change on this one. T. But let's play this one here. But I got the same thing here where I put the detail of the A here, and then I took it off here. Okay. Let's see this one play. All right, one thing I'm gonna add. I'm gonna add double underlay. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna select these. This one I think it was number 16, number 30, which we already set our own underlay on the R's. Okay, take out the walking stitches. Okay, first underlay center run, second underlay double zigzag. Okay, that's fine. Just to give it an extra strength down there. All right, let me just, before I send it out, I'm gonna send this one to the machine. All right, so it's a good portion of underlay. It's gonna take it all the way up here. It's gonna cut here. All right, now I'm gonna start the A here. You can always add a jump stitch if you don't want to include that cut. I'm just gonna include that cut. All right. Just fast forward a bit. In this part, it's gonna go down, complete the loop. And here, yeah, okay, cool. All right, then this is just straightforward right here. All right, good to go. Let me just verify our details. 9 cuts. Let me see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, hold on. I got too many cuts. So what I do to check my cuts, I just put this on super fast motion. That's 1. All right, so that's 2 right here. I got to figure out, take down. All right, that's fine, fine, fine. All right, so it's on the 2 R's. And on the A. All right, so, oh, I know why. When I change the underlay. Okay, so let me go to 16. I know 16's here. H. Start here and gonna end right here. All right, took that off. Just trying to figure out where this cut's at. Should be 30. H. S. So this triangles, that's telling me where it's cutting. Cut, start. All right. Just select it like that. Apply closest join. Sometimes you can't find exactly why, so you could just select them. Apply closest join. All right, it just figured it out right there. Then I had another one on this A. Was it on this N? Hold on. Oh, that's where the final cut's at. H. Put this final cut right here. 7. All right, so I should have 7. All right, just a quick investigation right there. All right, let's do that for quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, good. All right. Sorry about that. Just little minor details right there. All right, so let's save. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's hoop. Let's go to the fun part and hoop our sweater. Okay, so let me transition over to the hooping station. All right. Let me see. Good. 3. Bam. All right. I'll add some light right now. All right. All right. Let me know if y'all have any questions on the digitizing portion. Okay. All right. So, of course, we have our All Faithful. Let's see. I got my sweater somewhere here. All right. So, anytime I'm working with sweaters, okay, I like to keep it very efficient. Okay. Very quick and efficient. So, of course, I got the Mighty Hoop Station. Okay. Got the extender just to make life a whole lot easier. Okay. Let me add some light right here. All right, we all right. Just adjusting the light a bit. All right, good to go right here. So I got the extender. The reason why I like the extender is because it opens up the shoulders a bit. Okay. What I'm going to do, I just want to set up. Okay, so it just kind of spreads out the shoulders a tad bit. Okay, a little easier to line stuff up. All right, so I am going to use the adjustable brackets here. Okay, because I just want to put it right here, our text. Okay, so we got 7-inch text, so it should be like this. All right, so good coverage. All right, good coverage. All right, so what you want to do, all right, put this one on top, this one down below, 16. Okay. Usually 16 here. I know that's like my go-to number. All right, that's fine. All right. Let me grab my hoop. All right, I got the very popular 8x13. Okay. Very useful for sweaters. So when I'm placing the hoops, as long as this bottom one is set, then you know your hoop is straight. Okay. This top one just follows the lead from the bottom one. All right. Bam, we got that. Okay. So here we're ready to go. Let me just do one thing real quick. I'm just gonna center my sweater real quick. Okay. So I'm going 3 fingers. Okay, just close to 3 fingers down below. All right. Just looking for my water soluble pencil. Okay, so of course I'm always using my ruler here to kind of give me my center point. Sometimes you could, after doing so many sweaters, you could probably just eyeball it and see like this is the center here. Okay, but if you want to confirm, got 11, 27. Okay. The only problem with sometimes using the ruler is that sometimes these sweaters, they're not 100% straight. Okay, so here I eyeballed the center point here. The ruler showing me here. Okay, so somewhere in between the middle is the actual one. Okay, I'll just use this part. Then of course, you can just fold it in half. You can fold it in half. All right. So actually the ruler was correct. All right. When I eyeballed it, I was a little off. So lucky I used my handy tools because sometimes my eyes, they're not 100% perfect. All right. So I got my center point here. All right. Bring back the, actually, let me cut my cutaway. All right. I got a dark sweater. Okay. Navy blue sweater. So I'll use a dark underlay. All right. Bam. This is the best part of the Mighty Hoop is where these magnets just holds our cutaway. Okay. Because sometimes if you're trying to do sweaters without these clips here, okay, you're trying all sorts of crazy stuff to hold, so the cutaway doesn't shift. All right. As long as I can confirm that my seams up here are straight, I'm good to go. All right. And then this is 3 fingers down. So I kind of want to be in that area. So I want my hoop to be above that. All right. There's always the decision if you should put your hoop, right? Like which way do you want to put your hoop in when you're doing sweaters, okay? Since I have a design that's 7 inches wide, I don't want it to hit the arm of my embroidery machine through the neck. Okay, so this open part, I want it to face down. Okay, let me just triple check that I'm straight. Okay, once you're good, bam, bam. All right. You can also see like the natural line, the fold that I made. Okay, you can kind of see that it's actually in between my dot and what my ruler had. All right, so I'm gonna go right there. All right, okay, we are ready to go. Let me switch cameras real quick. Let me know if you got any questions on the hooping. I know I did it pretty quick. Sometimes I do it quick and I forget to go over some steps. All right, hold on. Give me 1 sec. Hold on. Oh, trying to pull up the other camera. Give me 1 sec. Let's try to fix this camera. We just fixed this GoPro right here. Of course, cameras always work before you go live, but they're not turning on right now. Give me one sec. All right. All right, all good. We'll just shift. Let me just shift this camera. All right, we're all good. All right, let me turn this on. Let me check this bobbin. Of course, you always check bobbin. And lucky I checked it because it was literally hanging on its last string. I don't know if you can see it that good. No, it's too bright right there. Okay. Let me put it in a new bobbin. Let me tone. All right. All right. Let me save the design. I'll get to questions as soon as it starts stitching. I'll get to questions right now. Let me just save this file real quick. And then this is a good question right here. Bevy Jean, since you're doing a sweater, are you using ballpoint? Yes. On my flats, I have them set up for ballpoints. And then Jelaine, do you choose the amount of underlay because of what you're? Yes. So while I'm saving this here, let's talk about the underlay. So I put a double underlay. Big reason is because it is uh, a big size. Okay, so big size, you definitely want to add extra underlay. Um, export machine file. Hold on, I'm trying to think of two things at the same time. Let me just save this. Save thumb drive. Yeah. So with the underlay, if it was small, like real tiny lettering, we definitely want to eliminate a lot of the underlay. But since 7 inches wide, okay, about 1 inch high, then we could go with. All right. Set this up right here. File. Oh. All right. This is 11,000 stitches. Um, and let's see. We're going with that 7, 8, 9. All right. Hold on. Trace looked a little big. All right. Yeah, we're good. All right. So pull this off. Okay. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah. All right. We're looking good right there. So I got the bottom part going in first. Okay. Just wanna... Oh, hold on. 7. Actually, I have two choices right now. Okay. I could either change the arm brackets. Okay. I could either change the arm brackets, or I could just change the hoop because, of course, I got to use the different brackets for the 8x13. What I'm going to do, okay, real quick, is, since I don't want to change the arm brackets, I can easily change it, but I can do something quick right here. Since my design is 7 inches, I could use my 10. I wasn't thinking about that right now. All right. So just real quick, give me 2 minutes to make this adjustment. Okay. Thinking that let me just see if my cutaway fits right here. All right. A little quick minor detail right here. Let's take a step back to look. Okay, look straight. Bam. All right, good to go. All right, no big deal. Back on track right here. All right, gonna line it up. I'm just flipping the design. Then I'm gonna trace it. I'll show you the trace right now. 99. All right. See if I got my camera good right here. All right. So let's see. Think we're good with questions. I got a question right here. Alice, did you use show mesh? I just used regular cutaway. Okay. All right, we'll get back to the questions right now. I do got a piece of 7-inch. I do got an extra piece of tearaway right here. Okay. This is just last minute thought that I had. It's 11,000 stitches, pretty heavy. Okay, not too bad. What I could do if I want to, okay, I could just I already have it good with cutaway back here. Okay, I could just add it under here as a second layer. Okay, just to hold on to just to make it a little bit more thick. Okay, I would have the option. For right now, I'm just gonna keep it. We should be good. Okay, we should be good because it's 11,000 stitches, but they're spread out. It's not like it's all centralized in one small location. Okay, it is 11,000 stitches, but they're all spread out. But if I were to have, let's say, like a small patch or a circular type design, and I had 11,000 stitches, then I would think about just either already putting two layers of cutaway, or just at the very end putting an extra cutaway here. But we should be good. Okay, so when I trace it, okay, that mark that I put, that was my 3 fingers there. Looks good right there. Okay, perfectly centered right there. And then let's go and push start right here. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Uh, then Bevy Jean wrote, "I'm confused. So are you okay to design upside down on machine?" Sorry, enough. Yeah. So very good question. Okay. Since I did flip the sweater, I did flip the design. Okay. So the design is stitching upside down. Okay. That way, because if not, that arm would have been pushing on the neck area if I would have hooped it the other way around. Okay. Sometimes, especially if you go wide, sometimes what could happen is that arm starts shifting here. Here, since it's here down below, I don't have to worry about that. All right. So you'll see it. You'll see it digitizing like that. And then Jelaine, are you turning? Yeah. So on the screen on the machine, I flipped it upside down. And then Sohan, right now I have it at 650. Let me check. Yeah, actually 600. I got 600. And then youngster clothing. After you have a digitized file, should you ever shrink it or make it larger without? Um, so if you have the actual design file, if you have the actual design file, then you should be able to make changes. So you could size it up. You can make it smaller. You can make it bigger. If you do make it from like one small size to a bigger size, you might have to change the underlay, or vice versa. If you go from real big to real small, you might have to take away underlay. For the most part, if you have the actual design file, then you can make changes. If you only have the DST file, okay, or the working file, depending what your machine uses, if you have the finalized version, then I wouldn't suggest making any resizing changes. Only make resizing changes is if you can bring it into if you have the native file and you could change it within the software. I wouldn't change the sizing on the machine, because I know on the machine you have the option to make it a certain percentage bigger or smaller. Okay. The best thing to do is always to change it within the software. And good practice is to make sure your digitizer has the same file or uh, the same digitizing software that you have or similar. Okay, a little closer here. Get you a better view right here. All right. I think we got a good view right here. All right. Appreciate that, Jelaine. All right. Good looking out. Uh, Vazil, thank you. Thank you for your lesson. Thank you very much. All right. Let's see. They're doing the F part. So it's doing the center underlay. Now it's doing the double zigzag underlay coming down. Now it's going to do the actual stitches. So on this F, if you remember, we did the F in 3 pieces. We cut it up in 3 pieces. So it's going to do this long arm, and then it's going to do the horizontal part of the F. And then I'll post this file so you can download it later today if you want to sample it out, and that way you can go back and dissect all the small little details. dissect the nodes, how we came about doing the nodes and the curves and the underlays. So on this R, this is where we placed that, we made that our own underlay before putting the actual horizontal part of the R. And then one little detail that I forgot to mention is the pull compensation. I set all of our objects with a pull compensation of 0.3. That way, anytime we did any intersection or any merging, we made sure that there's no gaps. Okay, so the software usually gives you a 0.17 of a pull compensation. I upped it up to a 0.3 just because I know we have a lot of overlaps and I want to make sure that our overlaps actually overlap. All right, Bevy Jean, as usual, your text is so crisp. There's something to inspire me. Thank you so much. I have a lot to learn. One thing that I'll tell you is you should be able to easily today be able to digitize the same text today. It's just a matter of tracing, setting your settings, sequence, right, and then stitching it out, and then also uh, just check the design, and you'll see, right? There's no special formula that we did. We just did everything in steps. Okay, we took everything by step, and really, as long as you follow the rules, okay, which is very basic rules of digitizing, you should be good. All right, doing the last part of the A. All right, doing the dots right now. Right now, the last part. I'm just gonna check if my GoPro's good. Nope. Oh wait. All right. All right. So far, from this angle, it looks very clean. All right. So as soon as it's done stitching, take it out. We'll analyze it. I have my magnifying glass here, so we can really get very close. All right. We'll talk about all the little details that we were looking at while we're digitizing. Uh, so far, no unnecessary gaps. A couple things that I might want to point out. Okay. And sometimes when you're analyzing your design, a lot of times you're going to see things that nobody would ever know even existed. All right. So I think every design, every sample that you do, you always become uh, a little bit better than before. Okay. You always learn something. Okay. Even if you stitch out or digitize the same design over and over and over and over and over, you're always going to learn something. Okay. So on this design, I kind of see a couple things, right, that are so minimum that only a digitizer or an embroiderer might catch. Okay. We'll see it when I take it out. All right. Question from Tracy. Do you have a video to download the software used? So the software that I have, the Wilcom 4.5, it's they send you a USB and a USB dongle, like a key that you need to have while you're using the software. So everything is done through a USB, uh, and they send you all the steps and everything that you have in there. But no, I don't have I don't have a video of installing it. All right, it's now doing the last letter. We're gonna analyze once it's finished. We're gonna take it out, analyze it, and then just as a preview for next week, we're gonna do script font. So we're gonna stay on this font, which I like a lot. Very nice looking font. But we're gonna turn it into 3D Puff. Okay. A lot of the famous baseball teams and everything, they have like similar fonts that look very similar to this font. Okay, so we're gonna talk about 3D Puff next week. So everything that we learned today, we're gonna kind of apply it for next week and add more information on top of that. All right, let me just switch cameras. All right, let me just switch out cameras. It's just doing the last letters right now. All right, I got the GoPro to work. All right, so we are good to go. Take it out like that. All right, let me see. Hold on. Let's fix this angle right here. Hold on. Let me do one adjustment to this. Give me 1 second. I got it like on wide view. Let me take it out of wide view. All right. Hopefully I didn't throw off the GoPro. Give me 1 sec. Oops. Hold on. This GoPro's real finicky. Put it right now. Format. All right. I'm gonna pull it up right now. All right. Let's see if that worked. All right. Bam. Back on track. It's a little bright, but all right. The only lessons learned that I was seeing while it was getting stitched out. No, not a big deal. Let me see if I could find it again. Um, when I'm jumping from letter to letter, okay, I would suggest always adding a walking stitch into the letter because sometimes it jumps. Let me see if I could find it where I saw it earlier. Um, Here on this O, where it jumps from the T to the O. Okay, I can tell where it made that jump just by like a hair of a slight like a bump right here. Okay, what I would just have done, make a walking stitch into the O, and then let it start the the underlay like that. Okay, that's like something that nobody would ever notice. Only like a digitizer might notice. All right, so I'm gonna put it up for free. This download, so you could follow along. You could kind of see all the details that I put. Um, all right, let's go ahead. Let me see if we got any questions here. All right, let me hit some of these lights. All right, overall, I think it was real good. All right, I think it looked real good. All right. All right, another good project, another good fun. Sweaters are always fun. I would say sweaters. Start preparing for sweaters because that's always a big thing come in the winter time. Okay, I know we're in the summer. Nobody's thinking about the winter right now, but you got to get you got to prepare for the winter time because I know for us that's the game time for us. Once September hits, all right, everything should be already lined up, ready to go. All right. All right, I think we're good with the questions. All right, I want to thank everybody stopping by today. All right, if you have any questions, if you want to add any information on top of what we learned today, okay, especially for those who are on the replay, okay, best way to ask questions is always on the chat below or on the comments down below. All right, that way we can all learn and we can always learn from every video. All right, so next week we're gonna work on a 3D puff, same script fonts, okay, same script fonts. Very fun, all right, very fun. We're gonna have everything ready to go. All right, so I'll see everybody next week, same time, 8 a.m. Central. All right, thank you for stopping by. See you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.